So following on what Stacey just said, so Microsoft Teams is a great tool to enable you to work from wherever you are and stay connected with the rest of your organization and the people that you're working with. It gives you the ability to collaborate seamlessly, whether you're working on a Windows 10 device, a mobile device, tablet, or even in a web browser. And the key thing is trying to keep things as simple as possible to ensure that you're as productive as possible. As Teams is part of 365, you obviously get the benefits of the security and the compliance features that are applied to that environment as well. Obviously, with the pandemic, we have been having a lot more meetings than we have been ever before. Obviously, this trend was happening before the pandemic hit, but obviously, as Stacey mentioned, that has massively accelerated everything. There's all sorts of different types of meetings, whether it's a one-to-one, a small group meeting, or a larger sort of event such as this. There's a different all sort of use cases for all these sorts of meetings, but the key thing is how do you make sure that these are productive and that we're collaborating as colleagues and as groups of people in the right way. So the key thing around Teams is being able to work from wherever you are and from whatever device that you're on. But the key thing within that is making sure that those teams are organized, making sure that the communication is effective and efficient. And also when you add in new members to a team, they haven't got to scramble around to find historic information to bring them up to speed. I think we've all been in situations where you're working within a group of people and then you bring in someone additionally to that team and you've got to find loads of email threads for them to try and get them up to speed, share the relevant attachments and find the right versions of those attachments. By using something like Teams, where the conversations are contextualized and the full history is available to people when they join the team, and the files are all in one location, we're going to have a much more productive experience and ease of bringing people up to speed. So within a team, how can you organize yourself? So each team by default has one channel, which is a public channel for that team. You're able to create as many channels as you so wish effectively within a team, and you can control them to either be public or private. Private channels are very useful because you can restrict access to that particular area to a subset of users. So for example, if you're working with external parties and there are some things you would like to discuss privately within your internal organization that's part of that team, you're able to have a separate private area for any conversation, able to store relevant files and also pin relevant parts, files, etc. tabs to that view as well. As mentioned, you're able to work with external parties, so you're able to invite guests into your organization, into a team. So for example, we were preparing for this webinar, I set up a team in the Cloud Direct environment and I've then invited Dave and Stacey from Microsoft in as guests. We've been able to have conversations within that team and also collaborate on these slide decks to make sure that we're all joined up and up to speed and ready to go through this session. Within 365, there's also other tools such as Planner, To-Do, Lists, etc. that can really help organize and keep you on top of your day-to-day sort of activities. These can all be integrated into Teams to help keep that team productive and make sure that everyone's working to the same sort of timescales and agenda. It's not just the Microsoft products that can be integrated as a whole sort of store effectively, where there's a number of third-party products which have native integration within Teams, so you can use tools that you're already using externally as well. Within each team, there's a files area, and it's actually a files area per channel, and this is all powered by effectively by SharePoint Online. So you get the full sort of features that SharePoint Online provides in 365 via Teams. So that's things like co-authoring, versioning, being able to share access to files externally and internally with a link, so you haven't got to worry about finding the right version, making sure everybody's edited the right version, it's all up to date. You've got that single source of the truth. All this collaboration can happen whether you're using the full Office desktop suite locally on your device, the web browser versions via Office 365, or even the embedded client within Teams. So very, very easily you can open a file within Teams, as you can see in the screenshot, and just get on with your editing and collaborate. with everyone being much more dispersed with working from home and different locations, threaded conversations, chats, IMs will become pretty much a key way of communicating for the majority of people. You're able to format those messages as you see fit. You've got the traditional sort of formatting options for bold, italics, underline, different types of fonts, but you've also got the ability to personalize messages with GIFs, stickies, emojis. And obviously, these can be filtered and disabled at the admin level if you so wish, but they do add some much needed more social interaction other than just formal business language, if that makes sense, in my experience. And obviously the IMs are persistent across all the devices. So if I have an interesting conversation with somebody from my laptop and then switch my device because I'm doing a school run, that whole context there, everything's in sync, and I can just pick up where I left off.